Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about a very interesting Streamlit component for Python. It's called Streamlit Ag-Grid. It is essentially an enhanced version of Streamlit's data frame view, where one particular thing that is very important is to be able to select any rows in the data frame. For example, you want to make a drill down view of a particular row, right? So let's get started. So first, we are going to install Streamlit and st.dataframe in a virtual environment for Python. So we are going to start in any particular folder. So you can open command window here, or as well as you can run cmd and then cd to this directory. So we are going to activate virtual environment first. So using this way. So this is essentially a very good practice for you to start with virtual environment so that it doesn't disturb your other projects. Okay, you can activate it this way. Now you come back to the root directory of this project, and then from there you are going to install both Streamlit and the st.Ag-Grid. Okay, Streamlit is done, and then next is to install pip install Streamlit Ag-Grid 117. So I'm using this specific version because there's a major change in version 118. So essentially the way we select row in version 118 is significantly different from the one that I'm using in this video. So just to make sure that things are working, also pandas, and the next one will be plotly. Now we are going to create a very basic Streamlit structure. We call it dashboard. Okay, now we start working on this. Do all the necessary imports. Okay, so this is a very basic Streamlit project structure. So you can run this by going to the CMD and do Streamlit run from there. So of course we are going to use this virtual environment where we have prepared all the necessary packages. So Streamlit run dashboard.py, and let's see the result. Alright, now we are ready with the basic structure of Streamlit. Everything is running correctly. Now let's make some dummy data frame and showcase the capability of Streamlit Ag-Grid. Okay, why not we ask ChatGPT to make us a dummy data frame? Okay, let's make it this way. This is my request to ChatGPT, and let's see what will be the result. So I'm going to paste the pandas data frame later on to our script, and this is the name, department, and salary. And then later on we are going to create some categorized charts from these, showing the ranges of the salary and so on. So let's copy this one. In our case, actually we already have the import pandas, so we are not going to use that. So here we have the dummy data frame in here, and we don't need this part. And then let's start by st.dataframe, so we know how the data looks like, and let's come back to our Streamlit dashboard and show how it looks like. Now this is without st.Ag-Grid. Now I'm going to separate it into two columns. The first column on the left will be used to show the data frame, and the column on the right will be used to show a chart. We are going to make column 1 and column 2 equals to st.columns, and I like to customize the width of the columns. So it is essentially like bootstrap column width, where the total is 12. So you can put it 6 for equal columns, and you can also put it like 4:8 for ratio 4 on the left and ratio 8 on the right, and so on. Put this st data frame on the left column, and then with column 2 we are going to write chart here. Let's come back again. I think, yep, our columns have been successfully separated. Now I'm going to write a very important function here, which I have already prepared. So this function is essentially to initialize the Ag-Grid, and this is very practical to use. I'm going to paste it in the description down below as well. So let's make a section here called support functions. We are going to put all our support functions in this block. We have the init Ag-Grid, the grid key you don't need to specify, and so on. Let's come back to that later. But essentially, when you call this function, what you need to accept is the grid response and the selected row. So grid response, let's forget it for now. So here we can do it this way. selected row equals to init ag-grid df. Now this will work straight away, and the selected row later on is the row that we select in the UI. Okay, let's come back here. Now, very interesting. Now here we have the st.ag-grid component showing the table, the exact same data frame that we used before. Now, hash df is not defined. I might not need this for now, so let's come back here. Essentially here, you are specifying a key for the st.ag-grid component, so it determines how it will cache the data or not. So let's remove that, because this is coming from my existing project actually. We have this as well as the download CSV button at the bottom. So you can download it as CSV, and it is native from Streamlit and Python. If you open it with a notepad, of course you will have the data in CSV format. We come back to our code here. Let's put it side by side for clarity. We have the selected row. When a row is selected, we want to know what data is inside. We have this selected row object, and then in the column 2 we are going to show first what is the selected row. Then we can see that this is actually just a normal dictionary which has the index number 0 as the row that we are selecting. Actually in here you can also enhance the function slightly, where there is a selection mode here which is called single. So you can put an extra parameter selection mode, and you can change it to multiple if you want to. So by default we are going to make it single. One more thing, selection mode equals to selection mode that we specify in the parameter. So here for example we are going to select, okay, I think the name is multiple actually. Yep. So here you are allowed to choose multiple rows by using control or using shift, like a normal selection on Windows File Explorer. Okay. Alternatively, you can also use checkboxes to do the selection. So here there's an extra parameter, use checkbox. Yep. By default here I specify it to false, so you can also change it to true if you want this kind of flexibility. Okay, let's stick to one row for now. So this can be multiple and can be single. So by selecting this employee number 3, let's say we want to view more data from the employee number 3. Let's say we want to do some comparison of salary or something, or we want to view a drill down view of this particular employee. So let's make a dummy data frame on that. Okay, so we are creating a drill down view of each of the employee. Now we are going to use this df salary. So the employee name is given in the employee field. We'll just change it to name. So we are going to create a drill down view of the df salary. If the selected row is not none, then means we are going to show some drill down view. So df salary with the name. So assuming you only have one selected row, and then yep, so the name has to match the name. So you're going to give a view here st.dataframe dfs. Okay, we don't need the selected row anymore. That's employee 2, employee 3, employee 5. So these are the salary history. Yeah, of course your salary will not go up and down like this. Let's make a line chart with Plotly, just to give an extra example. Okay, so actually I already have the very nice function to do Plotly chart in line chart format ready. So let me just paste it over here, and then I'll just give you the full code in the description below. So it has all the necessary sub functions that you need to do the line chart. And then here the parameter will be the df, x and y. Those are the necessary parameters. So let's put the chart in here. So this is how you call it. Fig equals to line chart stack Plotly, given the df, in this case is the df salary, and then the x here will be the month index, and the y will be the salary. And then you just need to call st Plotly chart given the fig. Yep, so it seems there's still some error there. So I forgot that the Y should be an array. So let's try that again. Yep, so this is your chart. Let's check the historical salary for this employee, for employee number 9. So this is the data. This will be the line chart. It looks very nice. So there you go, guys. That's how you display a drill down view of a particular data frame. So in here, we are using Streamlit Ag-Grid component version 117, and the chart right here is a plotly chart. Subscribe if you like it, and see you guys in the next video.